Hi, welcome back to That Green Kitchen. Today we are going to be making a steak and cheese focaccia sandwich, and I'm really excited about this. I absolutely adore focaccia, and this is pretty simple to make, but it does take time. So you're going to want to start at least overnight because it needs to rest in the fridge for 8 to 24 hours. So let's throw the ingredients together and then we'll put it in the fridge, and then we'll come back and let it rise. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our yeast mixture. This recipe calls for instant yeast. I don't have that, so I'm going to show you what to do if you don't have instant yeast. So basically all you have to do is you have to bloom the yeast first before you go ahead and use you add it to your flour mixture. So we're going to add 1 1/4 teaspoon of fast rise yeast, along with just like a 1/4 of a teaspoon of sugar, just something for the yeast to eat. And then typically I already pour my water, and then I'm just gonna add like 4 tablespoons of that warm water from my cup of water that I know I'm gonna need later. And then from there, we're just gonna mix it up. Add a teaspoon of salt, and we're going to stir that together. Then we're going to take our yeast mixture and pour it into this. And then I just like to take the warm water and kind of rinse out my other bucket. Pour the water in, and then we're going to form a loose, wet dough. Just keep stirring, and it will be sticky and wet, and that's fine. Then we're going to cover this with plastic wrap and let it sit in the fridge for 8 to 24 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this one in the fridge and pull out the one I already had chilling. Okay, so this is the one that I already had chilling. It's very voluptuous, as you can see. And we're going to pull this out of it, and we're going to go ahead and take our 2 cake pans. The one I made before was a double batch, so you would just do this for 1. You're going to pour oil into the bottom of the pan, and then you're just trying to cover the inside of the pan. Okay, and now we're going to take our, now we're going to take our pretty little loaf. We're going to take half of it, and put it in the pan. And our other half can go in the other pan. And just use your hands to get it out, but I like the little scraper thing just for fun and games. So we're going to take it and try to work it so that it is a little bit flatter. Again, this is going to be very cold, very stiff. Kind of goes against all of your intuition of what a dough should feel like, but okay, now that we have it out of the bowl and split in half, what we're going to do is roll it into a ball. And again, this is a very wet dough. It's gonna feel weird and wrong. And just like you should keep kneading it, but don't. So we're gonna roll it into a ball, set it into the middle of the pan. We're gonna take the other half of our dough. And remember, if you were following along to the recipe I gave earlier, you would only do this one time. I am doing a double batch. So turn it into a ball, and then we're going to cover it with cling wrap, and then we are going to let it sit for 2 hours until it expands. Okay, welcome back. It's been about 2 hours, so we're gonna peel this beauty off. Looks nice, jiggly. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the rest of our olive oil and we're going to pour it over. You wanna be generous. Cover the thing. And then I'm gonna take my wedding ring off for this part. We're going to push our fingers in and then we're going to top. So you wanna go almost all the way to the bottom of the pan. And we are dimpling her. This is kind of what creates that irregularity in the bread. That you get those big holes and the small holes and just the yumminess. So now that it looks like that, I'm just gonna rinse my hands off real quick. We're gonna take that. I have a couple different toppings for us to use today. First of all, the oven is ready. So I now have a couple different toppings for us to use. We're very excited about it. And the first thing we're gonna do is take some of our fleur de sel French salt and just kind of go all over. Okay. And one thing that I made that's very, very special is I went ahead and confit some garlic and we're gonna put some confit garlic on top. It smells absolutely magical. Just gonna put some of those roasted garlic yumminesses here at the top. It's of course 3,000 degrees because it just came out of the oven, so if you decide to do this, you know, be careful. It tastes really good. Okay. And then I'm just gonna take couple tomatoes, and this is more for my husband than myself, but you know, the things we do. And we're just going to pop them in. Like so. Beautiful. And then I have some rosemary and thyme stems that I'm just going to pull out. Some rosemary, some thyme. We all could do with a little thyme in our lives. That was a bad joke, and I apologize. Okay, and with that, we're gonna stick it in the oven at 450 for 22 minutes. All right, and now we are just letting it rest for a few minutes. I didn't get as good of a sear as I wanted because my pan didn't get hot enough. I cannot wait to get a new burner. This one has been crappy at best. So we're just gonna let these rest real quick, and then we are going to slice them and plate. Okay, and now we have our steak all chopped up, just the way we like it. So let's start assembly. Okay, now it's time to assemble our sandwich. While the focaccia was hot, I cut it and I stuffed the cheese inside. I'm using Gouda. And then we're gonna just take our steak and lay it right in there. It would be really good with some pesto or anything like that. We're gonna close it up. Try to keep our pieces on. And that is how you make steak and cheese focaccia sandwiches. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Unfortunately, part of the video, the audio didn't record, and so it's just not gonna work. I'm gonna piece together what I can, but just know it's not the original vision, but I still appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.